A very famous psychologist named Carl Rogers wrote a book, or the book is really a compilation of essays called On Becoming a Person. Rogers was famous for what he called his interpersonal law of relationships based on this idea of congruence. Rogers was also an influential psychotherapist in New York City for many years and trained many, many therapists. Before I get to Rogers' idea of congruence, I want to talk about intrapersonal communication and its importance in interpersonal communication, which is related to congruence. Intrapersonal communication is how you talk to yourself. So it's the kind of internal dialogue you have with yourself. And it turns out that intrapersonal communication is extremely important to interpersonal relationships. Intrapersonal communication can make you feel better about yourself, worse, it can make you confused, it can be unclear. You could be talking to yourself in ways that make no sense to the outside world or that don't line up with the world as it really is. So the first thing to note is intrapersonal communication. The quality of your intrapersonal communication affects your interpersonal relationships. People pick up on how you talk to yourself. So there was a famous experiment once where a psychologist told a bunch of Little League players when they were about to go up to bat, Little League baseball. They told half the players nothing. They just got up to bat and recorded their results. They told the other half of the players to tell themselves they were going to get a hit before they got up to bat. The Little Leaguers who were told themselves they were going to get a hit outperformed the Little Leaguers that said nothing. This was evidence that intrapersonal communication had effects on people. In interpersonal dynamics, that means someone with healthy intrapersonal communication can have healthy interpersonal relationships. So rule of thumb number one here is have healthy, positive intrapersonal communication. That leads to Rogers' concept of congruence. Congruence is the idea that we all have an experience of the world, but then we have our own awareness of what that experience means, and then we communicate that awareness of the world to others. So experience, awareness, and communication are three different things for Rogers. Congruence comes when there's an authentic relationship between each. So when I am authentically aware of the experience I'm having and able to communicate that experience. To give you an example of when someone is incongruent, if my partner says to me something and I get a little bit upset at my partner, and then my partner asks me, well, why are you angry? And I yell back, I'm not angry, in an obviously angry tone of voice. I have incongruence because I have an experience and I have an awareness of that experience, and then I'm communicating something. But my communication doesn't line up with my awareness. I'm not even aware of the fact that I'm angry, and I'm saying that I'm not angry when really I am. So the task of much psychotherapy is to help improve congruence in terms of a patient's awareness of their experience and their ability to communicate about it. So a couple general laws of interpersonal communication, or general rules of interpersonal communication here. First, try to improve your interpersonal communication practices by becoming more authentically aware of your experience of the world. The best partners know themselves, know what they feel and why, and know how to authentically communicate that knowledge to others. This kind of authentic interpersonal state is an achievement. It's a sign of emotional intelligence. Second, be aware that clarity in interpersonal communication is determined by congruence. Our partners are often confused by incongruence because conflicting effects are produced when we are not sure what we are experiencing or what we're feeling or what we really think, or when we're communicating the opposite of what we're experiencing. Third, strive for authentic and congruent communication practices at all times. Rogers had a law that he said that more congruence on the part of one individual would elicit congruence on the part of the other. And that was key to building intimacy in interpersonal relationships for Rogers. So the more congruent you are, the more congruent others will be around you, and the better you will feel about your interpersonal relationships.